Welcome to SHOWOFF SHOWDOWN! In this series, the fighters are called SHOWOFFs, and this is the series for the SHOWOFF SHOWDOWN! Now let's meet the SHOWOFFs for tonight's showdown, shall we? Tonight, we have a dark, destructive, epic battle of the ultimate evil overlords! That's right, Kaos VS Frieza! Which of these two pure evil, powerful villains will win the hardcore epic battle to the end? Well, let's find out, shall we? I put links to the analysis of both characters in the description below. Now without further ado, it's time for the SHOWOFF 2 Showdown!
This is a Drew Pickles disclaimer. The following animation you're about to see is actually not an animation at all. Instead, it is actually just gameplay from the game Skylanders Imaginators, featuring a custom-made Imaginator that looks almost exactly like Frieza, fighting against Kaos during the final boss fight. I know this may sound lazy and unproductive, but the reason why the creator of this video decided to make the battle this way was not because he was lazy. Or at least not entirely, hahaha. It is mainly because there is no real way to actually animate this battle, because, while there are plenty of sprite sheets and 3D models of Frieza, there are no existing sprite sheets nor 3D models of Kaos. So therefore there is no real way to animate this battle, unless you're a professional anime or cartoon animator, which the creator of this video isn't. So therefore he has no choice, but this is the only way he can make this battle a reality. So you're just gonna have to deal with it. P.S. Dragon Ball is owned by Akira Toriyama and Funimation, and Skylanders is owned by Activision and Toys for Bob, all rights reserved. Can't have a disclaimer without that shit now, can you? Hahaha. Anyway, enjoy the epic battle. It's going to be super swell. Link.
Get ready for the next battle.
Well, looky here, Brain. It appears those precious Skylanders made it all the way into our heavily guarded chamber, within our completely impenetrable fortress. I'm so impressed!
It actually is pretty impressive when you think about it. And I do think about it.
Quiet, Brain! I'm trying to taunt these stupid Skyfools before I destroy them in one of our classic epic battles!
Yes. And how does that usually work out for you?
Just use your mind magic to make me even more super awesome! And summon more super awesome Doomlanders than ever before!
Whatevs. Presto, Braino, and so forth.
This is going to be quite the epic battle, my old nemesis.
This is where I will finally destroy this once and for all, Skylander! I'm gonna get you. Targeting. Getting out that back. Fire! Fire breathing is great! Fire!
ゴールデンフリーザとでも言っておきましょうか。
The Dragon Ball fanboys are attacking! Run!
Okay, now before we run for our lives, let's discuss how and why Kaos wins this super epic showdown. Now, to be honest, this was an extremely close match. I will start off by saying that if this was just a base form battle, then Frieza would have won for sure. However, in a fight like this, I had to include their other forms, otherwise it wouldn't be fair now, would it? Now, while both Kaos and Frieza are very well developed villains and characters, and while it is possible that Frieza might be more well developed when it comes to being a villain or character in general, but that has nothing to do with who would win in a fight. Now, when comparing their personalities, Kaos and Frieza are both overly self-confident and full of themselves, and both are rather arrogant and cocky during battle. And they can both be incredibly stubborn and hot-headed if triggered or pushed hard enough. So Kaos and Frieza's attitudes and personalities will be relatively evenly matched, and will most likely cancel each other out during battle. Now, Kaos and Frieza both have a very wide arsenal and a variety of many different attacks, powers, and abilities. However, the biggest difference between their powers and abilities is that all of Frieza's powers and abilities are powered by ki, while all of Kaos' powers and abilities are powered by magic. In fact, the whole entire world and universe that Kaos lives in is literally made entirely out of magic. And as most of us know, there is quite a difference between ki and magic in the Dragon Ball universe. Now, it is true that Frieza definitely has a lot more destructive capability than Chaos when comparing their base forms, as Chaos does not have the ability to blow up planets, at least not in his base form. However, Chaos's magical abilities are perfectly capable of blocking and maybe even countering most of Frieza's ki powered attacks. Also, while Frieza is used to casually fighting opponents whose powers revolve around ki, I think it's safe to say that there isn't really anything that prevents Chaos's magic from harming Frieza, especially since the types of magic that Chaos possesses are very dangerous, deadly, and powerful, and it comes in quite a few different varieties which all have their own unique powers and specialties. Now, it is true that Frieza is faster than Chaos, however, Frieza usually doesn't rely on his speed, and he heavily relies a lot more on his raw strength and destructive power than his speed. And he really likes to fight up close and personal, which is exactly the kind of fighting that Chaos is used to and deals with on a regular basis while fighting against the Skylanders. Also, Chaos can magically shield himself, which will protect him from most of Frieza's attacks. Keep in mind, these magical shields are only temporary, and Chaos cannot shield himself forever, but they're still a very useful defensive tactic in a fight like this. Now, in just a base form battle, Chaos will probably be able to last for a fair amount of time and maybe even put up a good fight against Frieza, but eventually there will come an opportunity where Frieza finally lands a devastatingly powerful enough strike on Chaos to take him out. Now, that's what would happen if this was just a base form battle. However, these two have more than just their base forms, which I will discuss right now. Now, as we all know, both these characters have had many different forms throughout their series. For example, Chaos has achieved many forms throughout the Skylander series, such as his Emperor form, his Evil Eyes form, his Archean Robot form, etc. And there's a couple other forms that I'll talk about in a minute. And as we all know, Frieza too has many different forms that all come in different shapes and sizes. While comparing certain forms of Chaos to certain forms of Frieza is debatable, I think it's safe to say that Frieza in his final form, which is ironically not his final form, is definitely strong and powerful enough to destroy all the forms of Chaos that I previously mentioned. However, there are two forms of Chaos that I haven't mentioned yet, which just happen to be his two strongest and most powerful forms. The first one of them I will discuss is known as Traptanium Chaos. Traptanium Chaos is powered by special magical crystals called Traptanium, which is said to be the most powerful source of magic in all of Skylands, and the full power of Traptanium is potentially limitless. Now let's compare that to Frieza's final form, shall we? You know what, I think a fight like this deserves a much more epic looking logo, wouldn't you agree? That's better. Anyway, now Frieza's final form at 100% full power is roughly on par with Super Saiyan 1 Goku, but that is nothing compared to the virtually unstoppable power of Traptanium Chaos, whose power is once again potentially limitless. Okay, now before people start calling me a biased Skylanders wanker, believe it or not, this is actually true. In fact, I'll even show you evidence to prove it. Here's some footage from the cutscenes in the Skylanders Trap Team game that will tell you just how powerful Traptanium really is. Watch and listen closely.
No matter! He already served his purpose by locating all of the Traptanium we need to build my ultimate weapon of infinite power. Infinite power. Infinite power.
Nonsense, fool! That stupid Golden Queen only got it half right. Traptanium is the ultimate power source, but it has a much different effect in the hands of a dark portal master. By absorbing its power, it will make me, Kaos, truly unstoppable.
Traptanium has limitless power. We must stop Chaos before he can charge himself up even further. Otherwise, he will be nigh unstoppable.
So there you go. Now, don't get the wrong idea. Remember, I said Traptanium Chaos's power is potentially limitless. I did not say he's omnipotent. Now, if you're confused, then I will try to explain it by giving a comparable example. Okay, you know how Superman's power comes from yellow and blue stars, and the potential to constantly recharge Superman's battery is potentially limitless? Well, let's just pretend that Chaos is Superman, and he has a small or portable blue star inside his pocket at all times, which he can draw an endless amount of energy from. I think that's one of the best comparable examples I can give to try and explain how Traptanium Chaos's power works. Or in other words, Traptanium Chaos can use the power of Traptanium to continuously generate power and energy from the crystals repeatedly, and he can absorb and charge himself up with more and more power, and there is no defined limit to how much power he can generate and charge himself up with. However, while his power is potentially limitless, his durability is not. Or in other words, while there is no defined limit to how much power he can generate, there is a limit to how much damage he can take. While he does have the ability to heal and regenerate some of his health every once in a while, that doesn't change the fact that Traptanium Chaos can be destroyed with enough power and force. However, while Traptanium may not be indestructible, it is actually extremely hard to break. In fact, one of the only things that is known to have been able to break Traptanium crystals is an elite team of legendary warriors known as the Trap Masters, who all wield very special and powerful weapons that are made of Traptanium, and their weapons are specifically designed to not only combat very dangerous and powerful villains, but also designed to break other Traptanium crystals. Other than that, there are very few things that are strong or powerful enough to break Traptanium. So therefore, Traptanium Chaos is incredibly durable, and it is going to take a lot of power and force to take him down. While Frieza might be able to put up a good fight, however, Traptanium Chaos clearly has the advantage in raw power and durability. And unlike Frieza, Chaos does not have to worry about his power draining from overusage and or exhaustion. Also, you remember how Frieza's body got sliced in half by his own death saucers? Well, I think it's safe to say that Chaos's powerful crackling Traptanium blades are definitely capable of slicing through Frieza's body just as well, if not better. Now overall, sadly, even at full power, Frieza's final form just doesn't have the strength nor power to fully take down Traptanium Chaos before Chaos kills him first. However, Frieza's strongest and most powerful form, known as Golden Frieza, does. As we all know, Golden Frieza is roughly on par with Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, who both scale to be at least a universal level of power. So the power of Golden Frieza should be no different. So I think it's safe to say that Golden Frieza definitely has the strength and power to destroy Chaos's Traptanium form. However, Chaos still has one last trick up his sleeve. When Chaos unlocks and unleashes the full power of Mind Magic, Chaos can transform into his ultimate godlike form, known as Super Chaos, which coincidentally looks exactly like a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And because it does, it will remind Frieza of Super Saiyan Blue, and Frieza will most likely start having some flashbacks and bad memories of it. Anyway, Chaos achieved this godly form by teaming up with one of the Ancients, who are basically the gods who created his universe.
I just happen to be the smartest, most powerful brain in the known universe.
Not only are the Ancients the creators of the Skylanders universe, but they are also the creators of creation itself. What does that even mean? I don't know. Let's ask Spyro.
So this is called the Mysterious Ancient Place. MAP for short, kinda coincidentally. It is indeed a mysterious place with many areas of adventure for you to check out. It's also where those ancients used to live and where all creation was created. How did the ancients even create creation? Exactly. It's mysterious.
You know what else is a mystery? What that creep Chaos is up to with all that mind magic.
We're going to need some help. Skylander, once you're done exploring, let's head back to the academy.
Anyway, one of these godly Ancients, also known as the Ancient Brain, teamed up with Chaos and taught him how to use mind magic to its full extent. And eventually, Chaos learned everything he needs to know about mind magic, and he was able to finally harness and use the full power of mind magic, which then led to him achieving this godly form. In fact, even after the Ancient Brain decided to abandon Chaos and join the good side and fight against him because he felt that the Portal Master had a much better imagination than Chaos, it still didn't matter, because Chaos was still able to maintain his godlike form, because Chaos can now use the full power of mind magic at the Ancients level, essentially making him a god. And since the Ancients are the gods who use mind magic to create the entire Skylanders universe, this puts Chaos's full maximum potential at a universe level of power. So Chaos in his ultimate form does have the strength and power to hold his own against and even match Golden Frieza. So when comparing Chaos and Frieza in their ultimate forms, Chaos and Frieza are roughly neck and neck. However, if Dragon Ball has taught us anything, it's that power levels aren't the only thing that matters. Now, as powerful as Golden Frieza is, sadly, his power comes at a heavy price and has a huge downside to it. You see, Frieza has never trained in this new form. He was just too impatient and determined to get his revenge on Goku, and he immediately just rushed to Earth to show off his new godly form while barely even knowing how his form works. You know what? Here is a direct quote from Goku and Vegeta themselves. I think they can explain it.
You're too eager for revenge, that's why you'll fail. Let me take a wild guess about your training. You bolted to Earth the moment you achieved this new golden form of yours, didn't you?
And so what if I did? What's your point?
Your new form is burning through more power than your body can supply. You should have waited until you were used to this form and knew how to regulate it before you started picking fights.
Or, in other words, because Frieza has never trained in this form, he's not used to the power of this form, and he barely even knows how to use nor control it. The consequences and side effects of this include his stamina quickly dropping and his power quickly draining, and the more he uses his unstable power, the faster he drains himself of his power. And because of this, Frieza can only maintain his golden form for a very short amount of time, roughly about a few minutes give or take. Now because Super Chaos is at a universe level of strength and power, he is able to hang in there and last long enough before Frieza's power quickly drains to the point where the tables have turned and Chaos gets the upper hand. Now not only that, but it clearly states on Chaos's official wiki page that Chaos can use the power of mind magic to warp reality around him. And he can also use mind magic to create just about anything he wants just by thinking, such as an impenetrable force field for example.
A super impenetrable force field. Now we can create anything we want, forever. And of course, laugh maniacally while we do it.
Now, even if Frieza does manage to penetrate the force field, it will still buy Chaos quite a bit of time as Frieza's power quickly drains. Also, Chaos can use many other magical attacks, powers, and abilities against Frieza as he continues fighting and Frieza's power and stamina continues to drop. Now, while Golden Frieza can only stay active for a very short amount of time, Chaos, on the other hand, can stay in his godlike form for as long as he wants without having to worry about his power draining. Unlike Frieza, no matter how much power Chaos uses, his power and form will both stay the same, if anything at all. While Golden Frieza grows weaker, Super Chaos grows stronger. Now, of course, like all of Chaos's other forms, there is a limit to how much damage Super Chaos can take, but that's no different from Frieza. And once again, it is going to take a lot of force and power to take down Super Chaos. Don't believe me? Then try fighting Super Chaos during his boss battle on Nightmare difficulty in the game Skylanders Imaginators. Trust me, it's a real pain in the arse. Anyway, once again, Chaos does also have the ability to regenerate some of his health, which will definitely be useful after taking a devastating blow from Golden Frieza. So once Super Chaos and Golden Frieza have fought each other long enough, eventually there will be nothing left that Frieza can throw at Chaos that Chaos can't handle. And eventually Super Chaos's power will overwhelm the weakened and exhausted Golden Frieza, and Golden Frieza's power will finally drain to the point where Frieza will be forced back down to his base form, giving Super Chaos the perfect opportunity to go in for the kill and finish off the weakened and exhausted base form Frieza once and for all. Now once again, this was an extremely close match, and I had to go through a lot of time, effort, and research in order to find out who would ultimately win in the end. This was definitely not an easy debate, and both fighters were relatively evenly matched, depending on how you look at them. But in the end, Chaos finally came out on top. So in the end, Frieza met his ultimate doom. The winner of this battle is Chaos. Okay, now before we wrap up this episode, there are a couple of important things I need to get off my chest first. First of all, for those of you who weren't fully satisfied with how the fight scene happened, good news. I have also written a journal entry version of this battle on Deviantart that has a perfectly well-developed plot, interactive fight scene, and more. So if you want to read this battle done right, then you can find a link to it in the description below. Now, I know what you're all thinking, and before you ask, yes, I am aware of the recent events of Dragon Ball Super, where Goku has invited Frieza to join the tournament, and Frieza will be resurrected for the occasion. So you're probably wondering, why didn't I wait until after those events to make this episode? Well, the reason is because I actually started making this episode long before those recent events even existed. Not only that, but it would just be too much work to rewrite and or remake this whole entire episode, especially since I was almost completely finished making it just before these events happened. You understand what I'm trying to say, right? Now, I was actually using a very specifically chosen timeline of Frieza for this battle, from his very beginning all the way to being killed in Resurrection F. Now, it is possible that Frieza might become stronger and achieve new feats in the future that may or may not change this debate. So if you want to see a rematch between Chaos and Frieza with different circumstances after the Dragon Ball Super series has progressed further, then let me know in the comments below and we'll see what happens in the future. By the way, I want to give an extra special thanks to the creator of the second half of the fight scene in this battle, Buzzer. He makes plenty of really awesome videos, mostly related to Skylanders, Dragon Ball Z, and more, so do yourself a favor and go check out his channel and subscribe.
Next time on Show-Off Showdown! Got any ideas for Show-Off Showdown? Then let me know in the comments below, and hopefully, I just might do them. Now stay tuned for the next episode of Show-Off Showdown!